Fulton Sheen was a great teacher. Fulton Sheen had the ability to take deep concepts and make them bite-sized. He had the ability for the average Joe on the street to come to a deeper understanding. And so here it was in the 1950s. Can you imagine that he was primetime TV? Primetime TV, whether you were a Catholic, a Protestant, a Jew, or an atheist, you were tuning in to listen to Fulton Sheen because he was a great storyteller. Well, the power of that is primarily in his 50-lesson series. So we've taken his 50-lesson series, we've transcribed them. So all his talks, in the 50 lessons, we created a transcript. In conjunction with the transcript, we added Catechism of the Catholic Church in 1995. When John Paul II came out with the Catechism, we added the Catechism to every one of the transcripts. We did that because we were doing the program in parishes. We had a Monsignor who was a facilitator, and an elder gentleman, and the pastor was a young pastor, and he said to me one day, he says, "Why do you use Fulton Sheen? That's so old." I went back and I told the Monsignor, "The pastor says that Fulton Sheen is old." He said, "Well, you go back and tell the pastor, how old does he think the 10 Commandments are?" The teaching of the church were the same in the 1965s as they are today. And so doing this lessons with the catechism and having them there is such a powerful way to connect the dots. And that's what Sheen was a master of. He was a master of connecting the dots. The Archbishop asked me to take them to all the parishes and to start this program. This program is an ideal program coming off after like an Acts retreat, where people have experienced an encounter with Christ, but now they need to grow into a deeper understanding. The Lord said to me, I need you to go to prison. Prison, Lord? Which prison? He began to tell me, and I said, "Lord, who's there in the prison?" He said, "I'm in the prison." I said, "What did you do to get in the prison, Lord?" I had great intimidation going into prison the first time. But the first time I went into prison, I did exactly that. I discovered Christ. I discovered that Jesus is so powerful, alive in the prisons. You know, I spend most of my time in prison these days. I have a wife that's probably one of the few women that's willing to put up with a guy who goes in and out of prison all the time. And so when I go into the prison, they always give me a pat down, and during that pat down, they're always looking for contraband. Little do they know that every time I go into a prison, I'm packing. It's true. And when I get in front of inmates, I say, "Gentlemen, they don't know this, but I'm an arms dealer." They go, "You're an arms dealer? How'd you get in?" I said, "Yes, I'm an arms dealer. I carry semi-automatic weapons, 200 rounds with a serious crosshair. When you pull it out, even the devil runs." And they start looking, and I start digging in my pocket. They go, "This dude is weird. He got a semi-automatic weapon in his prison." And out comes the rosary. Out comes the rosary. 200 rounds, serious crosshair. When you pull it out, the devil runs. What I've encountered over the years with this Fulton Sheen program is the devil has infiltrated the church. And you probably have experienced it over the years. Well, guess what? We're infiltrating his kingdom. And little by little, day by day, more and more men and women are having conversions in the prison system and are becoming great prayer warriors. The Archbishop said, Jorge, what is the output of the program? I said, prayer warriors. That's what it is. You see, you may come to this conference to learn more about Jesus and our Blessed Mother, and that's important. But I assure you that our Blessed Mother and Jesus brought you here because here it is. They need you. They need you to join the army, an army that is mounting day by day. You see, the enemy is trying to infiltrate the world and to destroy it, and they think they're coming close. But little do they know, in their own backyards, an army is mounting. Jesus and Mary need you to be part of that army. You see, it only took 10 prayer warriors when Abraham was there at Sodom and Gomorrah, negotiating with the angels, if there was just 10, would you not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? And there was not even 10. But see what's happening in churches and in prisons is a growing number of prayer warriors. God is calling you today because he needs you. The God of the universe, imagine that, needs you to arm yourself with the most powerful weapon. Begin your basic training, because no matter where you are in your spiritual growth, whether you're an atheist, we get those all the time, or you're a theologian, it don't matter. After 50 lessons with Fulton Sheen, you're going to be at a higher place. You're going to realize that what you need is the cross. When they graduate from the program, they get a little wooden cross. Comes from Jerusalem, made out of olive wood, the same wood of the cross. It's blessed. Every year we take 1,000 of these little crosses to the Archbishop. He blesses them with an apostolic blessing. We then take it to an exorcist priest and he prays a prayer of exorcism. This last year we took over 1,000 of these little crosses to the hand of St. Jude that was visiting from the Vatican. And we touched them with the hand of St. Jude, and they became a third-class relic. The power of these little crosses is to be able to teach them that they can take their suffering and attach it to Jesus on the cross and save souls. In lesson number 1 with Fulton Sheen, the first takeaway is if you're miserable, help someone else out of their misery, and your life begins to change. And that's what happens with the program. So I invite you after and during the break, come to the table, hear more about how you and your church, you and your group can start a Fulton Sheen program. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, it must be expensive. It was. It cost Jesus his blood. But for you, it just takes a fiat. God bless you.